In a recent interview, current super middleweight king and boxing superstar Canelo Alvarez was asked to name 4 top fighters today in terms of skill. Canelo was quick to point out that there are several fighters who have great skills, and it would seem a bit disrespectful if he starts rattling off names but then overlooks some names who ought to be on the list. However, there were 3 names that he mentioned without any hesitation: Terence Crawford, Naoya Inoue, and Gervonta Davis.
I think Inoue, Crawford, Germonta, it's a lot.
Now keep in mind that it's very easy to fall into arguments about belts and accomplishments and legacy and all that, but the question was specifically about skill. So let's talk about skill for a moment. In boxing, we automatically think of things like foot speed, hand speed, punching power, and ring smarts. But these in themselves are just physical and mental attributes, the building blocks. The overall boxing skill is seen in the way a fighter puts together all of these attributes that he has, speed, power, agility, and so on, into an effective strategy or technique for achieving victory, and it becomes apparent in the way this strategy or technique is executed throughout the fight. If we look at it from such a perspective, Canelo's top 3 choices make sense. Forget Gervonta Davis's lack of upper-tier opposition relative to Crawford or Inoue. He is right up there with them in terms of skill. Now, Canelo Alvarez, during that interview, never did get around to mentioning one more top fighter in terms of skill, and that's what we'd like to ask you in this video. Who do you think should be that other fighter that Canelo forgot to mention? Or how about mentioning 2 or 3 more names, actually? Well, here at Boxing Mania, we do have 3 more names we'd love to suggest to complete such a list. We have Alexander Usyk, Dmitry Bivol, and Vasily Lomachenko. The way Usyk outsmarts and outboxes formidable opponents who are bigger and stronger is outstanding. Every time it happens, it's a performance that's really fitting of the term masterclass. And Bivol, if you were really paying attention, you'd have noticed quite easily that it wasn't the size difference that mainly contributed to Canelo's loss during that fight. It was Bivol's utmost mastery of fundamental boxing skills. If all Bivol had was the size, Canelo would have blasted him out of there within the first 6 rounds. So skillful was Bivol during that fight that he prevailed over one of the most accomplished active fighters. Canelo has been the face of pro boxing for a long time, and for a reason. But Bivol bested him when they met in the ring by virtue of superior boxing skills. That's why we have him on our short list instead of Canelo. And let us add one more point quickly. If we're talking about the 10 most skilled fighters at the moment, then Canelo Alvarez would definitely be there, along with the likes of Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. But why Lomachenko, you say? Didn't he lose against Devin Haney? Well, again, we are talking here strictly about boxing skills. Whose skills were more evident during that fight? It wasn't Haney's. His victory had nothing to do with skills, but everything to do with a particular judge seeing things differently from what the entire world saw. In terms of skill, which is the only topic of this discussion, Lomachenko's superior skill was more evident during that fight. Even if you are a diehard Haney fan, you'd have to acknowledge why Lomachenko is called the Matrix. So from the original 3 names given by Canelo, which are Crawford, Inoue, and Davis, we added 3 more, Usyk, Bivol, and Lomachenko, to make it about the 6 top fighters today in terms of skill. But how about you? We are curious to know which names you would put in your own list, and why. So, we look forward to reading about your own top 3, top 6, top 10, or whatever most skillful boxers in the world today. Share that list in the comments section and tell us all about it.